Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3914. Today's date is February 28, 2026. It's been almost like a night at 9:31 p.m. All right, let's just jump into the question. Okay, the question is, which financial risk in my life are within my control, or and which financial risk are completely outside of my control? Oh, that's a really good question. Okay, so first of all, is that key? What exactly is this question, and why am I asking this question to myself? Well, a couple of weeks ago, I read a book, Psychology of Money, really great book. I wanted to implement the value that book taught me. How do I supposed to do that? By asking question to myself. So I went to ChatGPT and say that he suggests me at least 20 question regarding about this book. So this is one of those question. Now regarding about the question says that what are financial risk that are within my control, and some financial risk are not in my control. So let's understand what is actually financial risk, or what let's understand like basically this in na, like I will not gonna talk about a financial risk. Okay, yeah, because I think that na ki risk is always been like a uncontrolled, like you cannot. I will gonna talk about a kind of like a financial expenses. This would be kind of like a really much better. Okay, yeah, because if I'm gonna say financial risk, then this is kind of like a new term. Okay, it's a very different terminology. Like if I'm gonna say financial risk, that means it's always be uncontrolled, because risk is you cannot control. Okay, risk is always been uncontrolled. Okay, yeah, but probably this question kind of like a somebody derive as a like a financial expenses. Okay, yeah, like a which financial expenses that you could control, and which financial expenses that you cannot control. Okay, yeah, because we all kind of like simply spend some sort of money on something. Okay, yeah, so it is very essential to understand that key which financial thing or financial expenses are in control and something is not in control. So from my point of perspective, okay, yeah, which financial spend or which financial expenses that I'm spending which is in my control. uh well, I think that na key first of all is that key regarding about money, regarding about financial, I make sure that key whatever the stuff that I buy is really necessary for me. Okay, yeah, I am not trying to buy such a thing which is kind of like a doesn't really need it. Okay, I buy some of the stuff which is matter. Like I bought t-shirt, pant. Okay, pant means like a bermuda. Okay, shorts. Okay, sometimes shoes. I make sure that ki these are the product that I bought which is kind of like a simply effective price with higher quality. Make sure that whatever the t-shirt I should supposed to be buy should be less than 500. Whatever the shorts should I supposed to be buy, less than 500. Okay, yeah, whatever the shoes that I will gonna buy, less than 1000 rupees. So these are kind of like a simply budget that I have. I am not kind of like a try to spend 2000 rupees of t-shirt. I will definitely not gonna buy that thing. Okay, yeah. These are kind of like assembly expenses that I do regarding about something that kind of like assembly in my control. Okay, yeah. Also, I do have a SIP. Okay, yeah, systematic investment planning. Okay, I recommend to you to kind of like invest money on SIP. SIP is a really good. Okay, yeah, you don't really worry about hassle and things and that, obviously you will not gonna get that much return. Okay, but the benefit of the SIP is that in the long term, like if you are kind of like a willing to spend money for longer period of time, SIP is really good way. You are kind of like a getting really good result, good returns, by the way. Okay. Same thing as a gold, same thing as a FD, RD. Okay, yeah. FD means fixed deposit. RD means like RD is like a post office kind of like a things, but still SIP would be really good. I'm not talk about the mutual fund. Okay, yeah, because mutual fund, stock market are very different thing. Okay, yeah, because if you are a kind of like a particular person who are willing to spend money on mutual funds and stock markets and things and that, then probably you have to be study regarding about everything, like how does market works, everything intraday things and that. And if you are willing to spend money, then yeah, you will get the returns too, higher returns in very less amount of time. But you have to understand that thing, the money that you are earning on stock market or profit that you are earning in stock market is because of someone losing in stock market, right? So yeah, so if someone lose, you gain profit. So you lose, someone other get profit. It's actually happened in stock market or things and that. So you have to understand that if you are willing to take that risk, then go for it. I am not recommend to you that. Okay, by the way, that stock market, mutual funds, those are uncontrollable risk. Okay, yeah, those are uncontrollable risk. SIP, gold investment is a controllable risk. Okay, another thing is that key term life insurance, very essential. I don't really have at the moment. Why? Because at the moment I cannot, like I'm not really earning any money. Okay, yeah. So how do I supposed to be invest money on kind of like a something like how do I supposed to invest money on term? What's a term life insurance? A term life insurance is a kind of like some insurance that if you die, then your family will kind of like assembly get some sort of amount of money. It's a kind of like assembly insurance for your family. Okay, yeah. Like basically this thing, you are the particular person who are the only one who is earning money, and your entire family is actually depend upon. After you die, it might gonna kind of like a very devastating, your entire financial source will kind of like evaporated. So at that time, that insurance money, the term life insurance is really good. Okay, yeah, because if you die, then probably after you die, your family will get kind of like a cover, whatever the kind of like a cover that you started. Like basically this thing, it's a kind of like a things that now you have to pay a little bit of premium every single year. Okay, yeah, like 10,000 20,000 per year, I don't know regarding about prices. And if you kind of like started early in your life, like in 20s and things, then probably it will kind of like assembly you have to pay very less cover, sorry, we have to pay very less premium for term life insurance. Okay, and it will gonna locked for forever. If you started your insurance very late, like probably 30 or late 40, then probably your premium will kind of like simply double or triple. Okay, yeah, this is actually happened. It is also affect on who you are, how is your health and things like that. Another thing, health insurance, which is also really essential. Like basically something accident happened, like if you kind of like went to the hospital, you might be wipe out entire money. Okay, so it is really essential to have health insurance. Whatever actually happened, health insurance will gonna cover. I'm living in India, health insurance is not actually exist, but in US is very much essential. Okay, yeah. And by the way, in US the health prices are very expensive. Like a doctor meet, or if you kind of like gets a kind of like a fever and things like that, like a medical expenses in US is far more expensive than India. Okay, in India it's a very cheaper. Okay, yeah, like if I am kind of like a somebody get illness or things like that, I could buy paracetamol which cost me 10 rupees. Okay, yeah. But if I wanted to buy a kind of like a some the same paracetamol in US, it probably I have to spend almost like a $1 or $2. $1 or $2, that means equivalent to almost like a probably 200 rupees. Okay, yeah. And I am buying this one strip of paracetamol which is probably 10 rupees. So probably almost like a 200 times cheaper. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's why they have insurance. But in India, which is also really essential to health insurance is very much essential. By the way, the cover insurance, the life cover, and like a term insurance and health insurance, those are kind of like a simply safe side, means those are not risk, those are kind of like a controlled risk. Like it's not even control, it's a kind of like a simply insurance. That's a very much essential. Like if you spend money on that, obviously it will gonna add value in your life. Okay, yeah, in very crucial moment. Okay, so it is very essential to spend on that. Do I have a health cover? Well, I don't. Do I have a life cover? No, I don't. I don't have. But I will. Soon as I start earning money, I will gonna have life cover and health cover too. Okay, yeah. Now I am not really kind of like a spending that much financial thing. Okay, yeah. So my kind of like assembly, I don't really have that much uncontrolled financial thing. Okay, I whatever the kind of like a financial spend that I have, which is very in control. Okay, uh, but I seen a kind of like people around me, and I think that na ki like basically this thing na ki sometime I try to evaluate from other person point of perspective, like other mistakes and things like that and that. Okay, yeah. Let me give you. Okay, I'm belong to the India, and in India, most of people actually focus on cure, not prevention. Now, what is exactly that? So it's actually kind of like a specifically resonate about health. Okay, yeah. Most of the people in India are focused on cure, but they are not really focused on prevention. Now, what exactly it means? It means that na ki let's talk about health. Okay, yeah. Is this thing that ki let's just say I have to do a heart surgery. Okay, yeah. So many people are kind of like a support for that, like a heart surgery or liver transplant or whatever it is. Okay, so many people kind of like a people taking loan for that heart surgery or things and that and that. And basically so many people are kind of like somebody do those things, and they kind of like somebody is this thing, like some people are kind of like have a cancer, mouth cancer. I seen people who has a mouth cancer. Okay, yeah. And they're willing to spend almost like a 2 lakh 3 lakh rupees for that mouth cancer and things and that and that, but they are not willing to stop chewing tobacco. No, they chewing the tobacco. Like I don't know why. Like a basically is this thing na? Like if you are do some tiny things in your life, you might kind of like improve your health much more better. Like you gonna live at least like a 10-20 year. Okay, let me like basically is this thing na? Ki I am 32, and till now I realize that ki what should I supposed to do to make my health better, because I think that na ki health is a very much essential factor. Okay, because if you lose health, if you lose financial, you lose financially struggle too. Okay, because like a like if you went to the hospital, the hospital will gonna kind of like a tremendous dude. You will gonna entire money will gonna gone. Whatever the money that you save or whatever the money that you kind of like whatever the money that you kind of like somebody earn, all will gonna went to the hospital, and that is really not good. Like also another thing, in my surrounding, people are so proud that ki they went to hospital, and they always talk about the hospital thing, they always talk about the health thing, they always talk about the illness and things and that and that. Like basically is this thing na ki one of my friend who is always talk about kind of like a how much he has a weight, he always talk about kind of like a somebody, he's kind of like a go to this hospital did that thing. He bought so many meds, so many medicine, like literally just like that na. Like I don't know how to supposed to explain this thing. He loves to talk about kind of like a somebody health stuff. Okay, like I am suffering from this, that, and that, and that, and that. I was like, why the fuck do you there? Like, and okay, like this person, okay. Now, if you might think that na, ki this kind of like a person is very health conscious. No, it's not. He is also eat junk at the same time. Okay, he also eat the junk same time. He don't really sleep. He just kind of like a scroll all the time in scrolls into reels and things and that and that. Like he does not do exercise, nothing really at all. Like he always, like basically is this na, that is what I'm trying to tell you, is this thing. Prevention means like that ki you have to do little bit good habit means what, like at least sleep for 7 hours. My sleeping cycle is really good. Like I don't know how do I supposed to explain, but my sleeping cycle is very legitimately good. Like I am make sure that ki during the day I shouldn't supposed to be sleep. Also I make sure that ki I shouldn't supposed to be lay down at somewhere. No. Like basically during the entire day I should supposed to be stand or I should supposed to be sit. I shouldn't supposed to be kind of like a lay down. No. That is the one rule that I follow, that I shouldn't supposed to be lay down. Okay. So when this thing actually happened, if even if I'm kind of like somebody in entire day, I'm kind of like a very much exhausted and things and that, I try to kind of like a take a nap, 10 minute of nap in my chair. But I am not make sure, I will not kind of like a lay down on kind of like a bed or things like that. Why? Because if I sleep during the day or if I sleep at afternoon, I might not sleep during the night. I think this is kind of like a cycle in myself. I'm not really sure, but this is what it is. Okay. I thought that ki like a 30-minute power nap would be really good and things and that. But for myself, I realized that ki for me, night sleep is very much essential. So I make sure that ki I will lay down during the night, only and only night, so that I will kind of like a get very good sleep. So soon as I drop my work, like basically at 12 a.m. Okay, yeah, I kind of like drop everything and I went to the bed and went to sleep, and within a 10 minute I went to sleep, and I wake up at almost like a 6:30 or 7 a.m. I wake up very fresh, and I kind of like a wake up like automatically. It's not like that I don't really need any kind of like alarm and things and that. So my sleep cycle is really good. Okay, yeah, so which is really great. Okay, so I make sure that at least you should supposed to be sleep at least 7 hours is very much essential sleep. Okay, yeah. Shower twice in a day. Do like I also recommend to you to shower twice in a day. It's not really that you can't do this thing. Okay, yeah, shower twice in a day. It's not about the hygiene, but it's also about a kind of like a, yeah, it's also about a kind of like a habit. When you shower like during the day and after the evening, like basically after you work out and things like that, you kind of like a feel fresh. Okay, yeah, things like that. So at least do a shower. Brush your teeth twice in a day. Also really essential. Like basically it's this thing na ki if you kind of like only brush your teeth twice in a day, it's a very simple thing, dude. Like I don't know, is this thing na if you just brush twice in a day, you might kind of like simply add 2 years in your life. 2 years in your life, like whatever the life that you will gonna live, add 2 years if you just shower and kind of like a brush your teeth twice in a day. Okay, yeah. Then probably is this thing, drink water as much, like you also drink the water. It's not only that you don't really drink water, but drink more and more water. Okay, yeah. Another thing is that ki do exercise. Okay, at least do workout. It's very much essential. If you can't really afford the gym, then at least run. Or if you like, if you wanted to add something, na play. Yeah, like let's just kind of like went somewhere, like a badminton, cricket, football, whatever it is. Join any club and things and that. Okay, just have some sort of movement, which is very much essential. Okay, so do this. If you are affording gym, then that is even more better. Okay, but do this. Also, gym is not meant to be kind of like a somebody for physical appearance. Don't chase that thing. If you went to the gym, just do the normal exercise, running or biceps. Yeah, do this thing, but not for the appearance. Because if you try to do this for appearance, then you push yourself even more. And when you push yourself even more, then probably other things are affect. Other thing what affect, like your study or things and that and that. Okay, so it is really essential to maintain a balance. Okay, and also is this thing now, if you are going to the gym, make sure that you are spending your own money, then you went to the gym. Try not to spend your father money to go to the gym, because it's also not really good too. Okay, yeah. So so basically is this thing now, if you still not really afford the gym, then don't matter, doesn't really require. Just there are so many kind of like assembly, let's just run. Like what should you supposed to be need for run? Okay, you just have to run, right? So just run it. I'm running for almost like a last four year in my life, 4 year in my life, continue non-stop, 30 minutes. Doesn't really require any kind of like a gym equipment or nothing really at all. I just run 30 minutes, that's it. And if you run this thing, if you kind of like have that physical exercise, it is also add so much amount of value, like being fresh, feel really good, you are healthy too. Like I don't know, it's just like that na, ki these are kind of like some small things that you have to do. If you add those small things na, you improve your health much more better. And let me tell you one thing now, what is actually the one of the, if you wanted to save money, or if you wanted to invest on yourself, that is the only one thing that you have to do. Just do this thing. Brush your teeth twice in a day, shower twice in a day, run 30 minutes, 7 hours of sleep, drink more water. If you wanted to add even more, then probably read a book for 30 minutes. Record artifact. Obviously, is this thing that na, if you don't know what is actually record artifact, but this is what is actually artifact. Like if you do this thing na, dude, you not only become successful, you just became like a better version of yourself. And I am highly recommend to you to do this thing if you are like a basically cross 30. Like you cross 30, you have to do this thing. Obviously, is this thing like a early 20s and late 20 people cannot able to do that thing. Why? Because there are a lot of constraint, and you are kind of like going through so much hassle in your life, college things, that job. Okay, but cross 30, you are bit much kind of like somebody secure in your job and things and that. You don't really have that much hassle and things like that. So implement those values. Okay, and kind of like do it. And also try not to do all the same time. Just start from beginning. I wanted to recommend to you, just run. Okay, that is the one simple thing that you have to do. Just run 30 minutes. Just be kind of like somebody, be in that particular zone. Then add a shower, then brush your teeth. Just do those simple things. Not just, I don't know, it will gonna improve so much more better. Now this question is kind of like regarding about the financial risk and things and that. But I think that na, ki if you do this thing, you just improve yourself much more better way. And I think that na, this is also kind of like a resonate. You might not get cancer, or you might not get anything. Okay, if you are kind of like an addict regarding about smoking and things like that, don't do smoke. Okay, because yeah, and if you are kind of like a smoker, then there are so many kind of like so many ways to stop the smoking, chewing gum and things and that. Okay, and also another thing na, stop that mentality. I'm belong from India, and smoking is considered as a kind of like a matured, a sense of maturedness. That is completely wrong. It cripple your health. Literally, just it cause cancer. Like look at the box. This is legitly says cancer. So don't do this. Okay, yeah. Alcohol, drink occasionally. Okay, yeah. It's not really that ki you don't drink, but it's just like that na, ki one thing that you have to do is that ki try not to drink alone. Okay, but if you are the particular person who kind of like a drink alcohol alone, then you might have a chances of being addict are too much. But if you are kind of like taking alcohol with the people around you, specifically your friends or things and that, you might not drink that much. Okay, yeah. But regarding about drink, try to do it occasionally, not every day. And alcohol is a kind of like a things that you could able to be control. I'm actually telling about this Indian context point of perspective, because in India, alcohol you don't really get every day. Like you get every day, it's not really that, but you don't really consume every day unless you are addict. But if you went to Europe and US, might be they have people who kind of like a drink alcohol every single time or every single day. I'm not really sure about that, but still is this thing that ki drink alcohol occasionally. Probably this might be kind of like a really good. Like, why am I saying this thing? Why am I include this health stuff into the financial? Because that is most important thing. Like, basically is this thing na, the world that we are living today is everything is actually polluted. Like air that we breathe, the water that we drink, the everything is kind of like a simply mixture of all those things. There is no pure at all. Okay, yeah. And basically this thing, we have a lot of kind of like some health stuff that we are kind of like somebody try to live much more life, but it's not. We are also living with a lot of stress and things and that and that. It's really essential. Like a basically is this thing na ki like a 50 year ago, if you are not taking that much precaution for your health, that is okay. But in today's point of perspective, specifically in 2026 point of perspective, you have to take care of your health. It is ultimate essential, because if you not have a life, you don't have anything. You might not get you like if you not have a life, what should you supposed to be have? Nothing really na. So this is what it is. Like I think that na ki one of the biggest kind of like a something financial risk is that ki like you are not maintaining your health, and that is the utmost essential thing, yeah, dude. Okay, yeah. And you have to be control those things, and don't think about that kind of like a assembly mentality of kind of like assembly cure mentality. Maintain like have a kind of like assembly thought process of kind of like a prevention. How do you supposed to prevent kind of like assembly cancer which will gonna happen in the future? Stop smoking today. Okay, how should you supposed to be kind of like a stop diabetes which was gonna happen 10 years ago? Try to maintain sugar level. Like you have to do small things na. Like basically is this thing that ki in my family tree, my family tree, we have a kind of like a something diabetes. My grandfather have, my father does have, my father's big brother have. Okay, yeah. So basically I will also get the diabetes too. Okay, yeah. And another thing is that na, ki my mother is also love sweet. Okay, and I also love sweet too. Okay, yeah. So probably is this thing na ki the one thing that I love sweet is a kind of like a bit more dangerous for me. Okay, yeah. It not gonna affect me at much, because right now I am at the prime age. My age is 32, but probably after I cross 50, I might get kind of like a very serious damage regarding about that. So I have to be make sure that I have to be kind of like a do exercise every single day. Okay, yeah. I cannot cut the sugar because like basically I don't really have that much sugar exposure. Like I kind of like somebody drink tea, and kind of like somebody sometime I kind of like I like sweet, dude. I like sweet. I consume little bit of, but I try to make sure that not have too much. Okay, yeah. But still is this thing that ki sugar right now I cannot able to be maintain. Okay, because I can't afford. What do you mean you can't afford? Like I can't drink sweet thing, na? Okay, like I like sweet. Okay, let me eat sweet at least. Okay, I will kind of like able to do exercise. Okay, yeah. I'm kind of I run every single day, 30 minutes. I'm gonna kind of like continue do my exercise so that I will supposed to be maintain my diabetes and things like that. Okay. So yeah, like this is what it is. Like this is how you kind of like a prevent. Okay. So prevention is kind of like a much better than cure. And I think that this is kind of like a, one of the really essential kind of like a risk that most of people are not really kind of like consider and things like that. So in my life, what is actually risk that I am in control? Spending. Okay, yeah. I already mentioned I buy some sort of stuff that is kind of like a matter to me. Okay, yeah. And like basically these are the kind of like a some stuff. Okay, yeah, that uncontrolled stuff, like a uncontrolled risk and controlled risk. Okay, yeah, in most of the time whatever the spending that I does and whatever the lifestyle do I have is mostly based on control risk or control spending or control like a financial expenses are in control. Okay, yeah, I don't really have that much kind of like a habit or things that my financial spend are uncontrolled. No, I don't really have that. Okay, yeah, like I control my health, I control my spending things, financial things, and that. So yeah, so this is it. I should supposed to be end here, and thank you.